Rand Paul today said that Doge cuts will ultimately need a vote in Congress. Do you agree with that? Is that the plan?
I really don't know. Donald Trump is the only president in history who doesn't know the answer to that question. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin. She's a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee, which has been deciding how much money the federal government has spends since the committee's creation in 1867. Senator Baldwin, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Apparently, Donald Trump does not know where these spending decisions are made in this government.
Yes, Article 1 of the Constitution makes it very clear that Congress does the budgeting, the appropriating, and passing laws, and it's the president who administers and implements those laws. And as we are watching all of this unfold in the first few weeks of this presidency, it seems that Donald Trump wants to just do away with the other two branches of government or ignore their actions. But that won't stand. And as we have seen, he has overreached in many ways. His federal funding freeze was absolutely unconstitutional. And fortunately, the courts stepped in and are now saying you cannot pause funding. Whether he is complying with that order or not right now remains to be seen. But we have seen action after action by this administration that is an overreach, that substitutes his judgment for that of Congress. That is not what a president is able to do. And look, if we let him do that, let's think about where it leads. Does he just replace his own judgment with the acts of Congress? Does he decide that only people in red states should get Social Security and Medicare? Does he close VAs in blue states? This cannot be. And it is high time that not only Democrats in Congress stand up to this, but the Republicans join us.
You know, Nick Kristof mentioned the $500 million of American farmer-delivered food aid that's been rotting on docks since the freezing of USAID. We learned about that yesterday from the USAID Inspector General Paul Martin, and I read that report on this program last night, and I was thinking, without saying it publicly, that Paul Martin will be fired today after writing that report yesterday. And I didn't want to predict that publicly because I didn't want to give anyone the idea who didn't already have it. And of course, Paul Martin was fired today after revealing to us exactly how badly damaged Elon Musk, how much damage he's done to USAID and to the efficient functioning of it, which is what the Musk claim is he's trying to do.
Yes, and this is not the first we've seen. We have seen the firing of 17 inspector generals across many agencies. Now, this inspector general, this is supposed to be the independent watchdog looking at these agencies on behalf of the public. And this isn't the only set of firings we have seen from this administration that seems to be intimidating and bullying anyone who tries to cross them. But again, we have three branches of government. We have a system of checks and balances. And through the courts, the Congress, and our constituencies, we must fight back. And I hope that people understand their power. Think about the act to freeze funding just a short while ago, and we got calls. We were deluged with calls from our constituents saying, a deputy fire chief called my office saying, I have a federal grant to pay for new firefighters on the team. Do I have to discharge them? Do I have to furlough them? We heard from Head Starts that had to shutter for several days, leaving hundreds of children and hundreds of families without childcare. And we heard from community health centers who couldn't get to the portal to get the funding they needed to stay open and serve patients. And the outpouring ended up resulting in the administration pulling back that directive from OMB. And let's not forget the first Trump presidency. It was the people standing up who prevented Donald Trump from repealing the Affordable Health Care Act. And we're going to do that again. The courts, the Congress, and our constituents all together are going to stand up.
Senator Tammy Baldwin, thank you very much for joining our discussion tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And coming up, our next guest told the Washington Post, so many of these things are so wildly illegal that I think they're playing a quantity game and assuming the system can't react to all this illegality at once. Georgetown law professor David Super joins us next.